Hi, folks. Welcome back to the big show. And joining me this hour in studio is Lisa Jandovitz, a New York City media personality with PBS and other media outlets. It's a pleasure. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, Steve. I'm glad to be here.
My pleasure. Let's say hello to our friend, the former Congressman Pete Hoekstra. Hello, Congressman. Say hello to Lisa.
Hey, hi, Lisa. Hi, Steve. Good to be with you today.
Well, good to talk to both of you. All right, so Lisa, you were watching the Ari Fleischer interview, and we were talking about the Arizona bill, and now the NFL is saying that if they sign that bill, if Jan Brewer signs it, there's a good chance that they might cancel the Super Bowl, which is scheduled for Arizona next year. I don't know. What do you think Jan Brewer is going to do here?
I don't know. It's ridiculous if it is not. This whole issue with the NFL and the banning the foul language, that's another thing that just came up the other day. I don't know how this is going. It's almost like as if there's too much going on, too much micromanaging. And how is that possibly going to be enforced?
Yeah, well, Congressman, what do you think the governor should do?
Well, I'm not. Exactly what bill are you talking about, Steve? If they're talking about banning foul language,
specifically the bill that Jan Brewer is either going to have to veto or not veto with regard to the religious rights protection bill. I'm not sure the exact name of it, where the people who passed it in the state legislature believe that it'll protect people like photographers and bakers who in other states have been fired or lost their businesses and been penalized for not working a gay wedding or for making a gay wedding cake, that kind of thing. It will protect them. Others, Ari Fleischer's under the impression that it will go further and allow people not to be served food if they're gay. I don't know what's in the bill, but Governor Brewer hasn't made a decision yet, and she has until Friday, but indications are she might veto.
Well, I think, again, I don't know the exact specifics of the bill, but directionally, there have to be some kind of protections put in place from some of the court rulings that have come out recently. I think providing some protections so that businesses can, you're owning a business, you want and you have moral beliefs, and part of it, they help drive your business. I worked for a company that had very, very strong beliefs in terms of how we treated individuals and those types of things. And I think the company should have the flexibility based on the owner's religious beliefs to implement and run their business consistent with their business beliefs.
Yeah, and I would have to agree. Again, I haven't read the bill. If it says that you don't have to serve food to a person because they're gay and who comes into your restaurant, that's ridiculous, and that shouldn't be. But if you provide a service such as taking pictures or whatever, and you say no, I don't believe in that in a gay wedding, I don't believe in that kind of marriage, and it's against my religious beliefs, you shouldn't be forced to participate in that wedding. Let me ask you now, Lisa. We also heard Attorney General Holder today talking to the nation's attorneys generals, specifically those where marriage is traditionally defined as between a man and a woman, saying you don't have to go to court, you don't have to defend that law if it comes up in court. Don't defend it, basically, because Eric Holder, and the president don't like it. Here we go again with another version of I have a pen.
Right. So in other words, it's basically their states are not going to have a choice. Really, in a sense, it is just going to be swept across. That's what it sounds like, as if it's going to be swept across the country. The decision has been made, and you see it starting. It's even starting in the South, where there's a campaign going on right now. Southern states, which are traditionally conservative, many of them because of their religious beliefs, believe in a specific definition of marriage between a man and a woman, and there's a whole campaign out right now that's going on to change all of that.
Yeah.
And the same way that it happened in Utah, where the ban was overturned, and the people that live in those states then don't really have any say.
Right. When the court gets involved, Congressman, it's and overturns the will of the people. It really seems like it's never a good idea.
Well, and the thing is, Steve and Lisa, it's not only excuse me, it's not only happening here where the president is deciding which laws to enforce and which ones not to enforce. The Attorney General is now counseling states, what parts of their Constitution they should defend and what parts of their Constitution they should not. We've got, I think, lots of cases around the country where the federal government has been sued And rather than defending what the Attorney General and what the attorneys for these different bureaucracies are doing, is they're settling out of court, and basically they're undercutting rules and regulations that have been well thought out. They've been defended in the courts, but they're basically changing the direction of this country. It's been stated frequently, America's starting to look like a banana republic. We used to be a country of laws, and there's a real question about whether that's still the case, and whether we now have leaders who don't see it as their primary responsibility, that if there's a law, defend it. If you don't like it, go to the legislature, go to Congress and change it.
Right, right. Well, let me ask you this. Lisa and I were talking before the show about the Defense Secretary yesterday and his remarks regarding changing the troop levels to pre-World War II levels for the Army, other changes in the defense budget. Congress, though, has the ultimate say because they control the purse strings, correct?
Oh, that is right.
And what's your reaction to what was said yesterday and the proposals that are out there on the table?
I mean, they really do hollow out our military, just at a time where many are describing that the threats to America are as great as we've seen at any time.
And Congressman Hagel himself, and I didn't mean to interrupt, Hagel himself said that the threats are greater than ever before, and then in the next breath, he said, by the way, here's what we're cutting. Yeah, no,
so I mean, modernization, adapting the military to face the kind of threats that we face today, absolutely appropriate. Gutting our military the way that they're doing it, and the kind of leadership that or the lack of leadership that we've had on foreign policy, make the world less safe. The lack of strong American commitment to our allies in the Middle East, the uncertainty, the concept of leading from behind means it's actually fostering this environment where America is perceived as being weaker. What is now proposed out of the out of the Department of Defense, we actually will be weaker.
Congressman Lisa Jandovitz, can I ask you, former Secretary of Defense Bob Gates said that these levels would be catastrophic to drop down to these levels. The Army was scheduled to drop to 490,000 troops from a post 9/11 570,000, and that it will go down further to between 440,000 and 450,000 troops. That's the smallest force, of course, before the World War II buildup. Is this putting our country at risk, and is the economy, in other words, this is all based on money, and their cuts have to be made, is this all on the military's back?
Well, clearly the federal government has to readjust its priorities, and we all know that we've got to reform entitlements, we've got to get discretionary spending. I think what this president is actually doing is he's thrown this out there as a straw man, and what he's going to do is he's going to negotiate with Republicans in Congress who believe that these cuts will be catastrophic. I believe that they're catastrophic. And he'll say, okay, I'll give you more defense spending, but you need to give me more discretionary domestic spending. The end result is there will be more spending, we'll grow the government, and we'll have a bigger deficit.
So entitlements will not be touched, though?
The president, I think in his last budget, proposed a very, very small change in the cost of living adjustments for Social Security, and he's now pulled that out of his budget proposal. He's not going to go after it.
No, he pulled that back.
No way.
Congressman, always great to talk to you, sir.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
Steve. Nice meeting you, Lisa.
Thank you, Congressman.
All right, folks, Congressman Pete Hoekstra, former chair of the House Intelligence Committee. When Lisa and I come back, we will be joined by a sitting congressman who's doing his best to protect the American public from the IRS, and the move on the House floor today to do just that. You're watching the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.
The Steve